All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So in this one, I wanted to really go over something that Robert Saleh said in yesterday's press conference, kind of just dive into it a little bit further. So towards the end of the presser, he talked about changing the Jets practice schedule, essentially ramping the team up, longer practices, more reps. In fact, in yesterday's practice, Saleh actually said that the starters, got the equivalent of around 3/4 of reps, right? 3/4 of a regular season game. And this is something new. This is something that the staff is trying out. They did not do this last season. And it kind of got me thinking, right? Because there's such a massive question about, should Aaron Rodgers play this preseason? Should the starting five play this preseason, right, to help get extra continuity and chemistry? How do we feel about Brees playing, Sauce Gardner playing? With pretty much all of the Jets' best players, the star players, it's been a talking point. And to be honest, I think it is maybe blown out of proportion a little bit when I'm, listening, or when I'm kind of seeing people on the national sports media stage talk about it. I really don't feel like it's maybe that big of a deal. I think maybe the biggest conversation, and Tyson from Let's Talk Jets Radio, or me and Tyson were talking about this on last night's podcast, but it's the idea again of the starting five offensive linemen, because this is a group that has a lot of new faces with John Simpson and Morgan Moses coming back, AVT getting healthy, Tyron Smith, Olu Fashanu, and we know the offensive line needs chemistry, right? We cannot be having our full lineup 100% healthy, but then it's still getting abused on game day just because of the continuity's off, the chemistry's off. It's just not there, right? Guys are confused. Guys don't know where exactly they need to be. And look, we know that this is not Madden. It's not just sign player, drive player, plug them in whenever they're good to go, and they're just going to be playing off of their Madden overall ranking, right? There is a mental part of the game. There is that chemistry that needs to be built. So again, with Tyron Smith taking all these days off, these scheduled practice days off, with AVT coming back from the injury, so he missed a good chunk of time early on, with Morgan Moses occasionally missing some time, would it be the best idea to roll at least the starting five out there, Tyron Smith included, in a preseason game, whether it's this week against the Panthers or, probably the Giants game in that third week, maybe just for a drive or two? And to be honest with you, I feel as though we can create that chemistry in practice, in joint practice, right? With Carolina and again, the New York Giants here. I don't really feel the need for these guys to go out there and play in preseason. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't really have a bunch of injury concerns, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, players like that, especially the young players too, Olu, Will McDonald, those guys, I'm fine playing in preseason. Maybe not all for the same amount of time or at the same duration of them all being out there. But when I'm thinking about the big time positions that the Jets added guys at, right? Left tackle with Tyron Smith, right tackle with Morgan Moses, keeping Aaron Rodgers not only just upright, but healthy, making sure he's 100% for the start of the season. I think that is key, right? That's key. And I also think it's important or relevant to ask the players. For example, if you're Robert Saleh, if you're Nathaniel Hackett, and you need you're trying to figure out these answers, or you're on the fence about something, just approach Tyron Smith and say, hey, how do you feel about playing in this joint practice? How do you feel about playing in the third preseason game? If you don't feel like you need it, it's not really going to be beneficial to play one drive in preseason football, then it's just not really worth the risk, in my opinion. And by the way, for context, the reason why this is such a big talking point right now is because we're seeing other teams in the NFL, teams kind of have the fear of starting slow. So we're seeing Joe Burrow, right? Somebody who is injury prone. We're seeing Josh Allen. We're seeing Pat Mahomes, right? We're seeing these stars, like the faces of the NFL, play in preseason, but then when it comes to the New York Jets, we haven't seen any starters. And again, moving forward, does kind of feel as though the Jets are just going to continue to sit their starters, or at least the majority of them, especially the ones with the injury concerns. And again, I'm all for it. Tyron Smith is a longtime veteran. Morgan Moses, longtime veteran. Aaron Rodgers, longtime veteran. If they don't feel like they need it, then, you know, as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator, I'm not going to force him out there. You know, I understand that could be maybe putting the player above the team. You know, the player is running the show here. The player is telling the coach what to do. But in a season with this much pressure, when you're dealing with, you know, some of the best players to ever play at their specific positions, and they're this old, and a lot of them are injury prone again, I think it's just the more data, the more conversations that the team has to make the smartest decision for that player to be ready by week 1 is the logical choice here. I really don't feel as though it needs to be this massive, you know, this massive debate. You know, if Rodgers plays 2 series against the Giants, will that determine how he's going to look throughout the course of the regular season? Probably not. But of course, on the flip side, you know, you approach Tyron Smith, you approach Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, you know, how are you feeling? You think you're going to be, do you feel like this preseason game or this joint practice is necessary? And they say, actually, you know what? Yeah. I just don't feel like I'm as sharp as I need to be. Maybe I still need to shake a little bit of the rust off. I just want, you know, an extra couple drives of reps or whatever the case may be. Then, you know, once you have the player, the veteran player that knows his body, that knows his situation, greenlighting it, as a coach, you kind of feel, okay, you know what, I can just unleash this player. He needs it. He wants it. And we're going to move forward. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on it. I find it super interesting, right? This whole debate on whether these guys should play or shouldn't play, while at the same time, the whole rest of the league is just allowing their guys to play. Actually, hold on. Breaking news here. What is it? JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy is out for the season. Man, as we're sitting here talking about, you know, if players should be playing in preseason or not. Let's see. What was it? It was a meniscus, I believe. Man, so McCarthy's out for the season. That means Sam Darnold is, you know, assuming he stays healthy, we're going to be seeing Sam Darnold when we play the Vikings pretty early on in the season. Man, tough blow for Vikings fans. I know McCarthy wasn't scheduled to start the season, but still, you know, trading up into the top 10, drafting a quarterback. Jeez. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.